Ahoy hoy, I'm Planarwalk, and I've got to put a bit of a disclaimer in this video. This video may be insensitive or offensive to some people with autism. Although this is not my intention, it just so happens that I live in a day and an age now where everything someone says will be offensive to someone. On the other hand, anti-vaxxers will probably also be offended at this video. And this is actually my intention, because anti-vaxxers are probably far more offensive than I am towards people with autism, so fuck 'em. So for those of you who don't know what anti-vaxxers are, welcome to the internet! It's a wonderful place here, but there are a lot of nut jobs. So anti-vaxxers is generally the idea that vaccines are bad for your health, and many people who are anti-vax claim that vaccines cause autism. This isn't a surprise, seeing as most anti-vaxxers are white women named Karen who decided that giving a nut job would be better than giving a blowjob, thus they ended up with 3 kids. This is why most medical professionals actually recommend that you do not name your kid Karen. That is a fact. In fact, naming your kids Karen can be so bad that scientists are trying to work on a cure for Karen. The only problem is that when you're infected with Karen, you have a distrust for scientists that are working on a cure for Karen. Now, the Karens of the world haven't always been anti-vax. In fact, a lot of it came after Andrew Wakefield published a paper in 1998. The paper in question suggested that there was a link between the MMR vaccine and autism. Now, even though there had been anti-vax movements before Wakefield's paper got so much publicity that it probably started the biggest anti-vax movement so far. And because of the popularity of these findings, many people infected with Karen believed them. And not only did they believe them, but now it's every single fucking vaccine that causes autism. The MMR vaccine, it causes autism. The polio vaccine causes autism. Tetanus shots, they cause autism. The flu vaccine also causes autism. Even this vaccine causes autism. I'm autistic! However, as it turns out, vaccines do not cause autism because Andrew Wakefield's study was fraudulent and also had a very small sample size of 12 people. These 12 children all had autism, and they had all received the MMR vaccine. Wakefield concluded from that the MMR vaccine caused autism. That would be very much like me going out finding 12 people with depression and asking, do you have siblings? And then all 12 of them responding with, yes, I have siblings. Then I conclude that, oh, siblings cause depression. And if I throw in a bit of anal probing, then I have myself an Andrew Wakefield study. So because of the way that the study was performed, Andrew Wakefield actually lost his medical license. Well, actually, Andrew Wakefield had his license reinstated. No, Karen, that is wrong. There is a bit of misinformation where people are claiming that Andrew Wakefield's license has been reinstated. I'm assuming that this misconception is due to one of his colleagues' licenses being reinstated, but the court has said that this in no way validates Andrew Wakefield. And on top of that, numerous studies have been done to try and find a connection between vaccines and autism. There has been zero connection found. But my son Todd, he went to get a vaccine and he was never the same after that vaccine. Karen, that's a post hoc ergo propter hoc fallacy. Just because a child seems a little bit different after receiving a vaccine, it does not mean that that vaccine is the reason that that child is a little bit different. Kids change all the time. It's called growing up, Karen. But vaccines literally murdered my son. Todd is fine, Karen. It's Daniel you've got to be worried about. He's 3 years old, he's smearing Nutella on his face and he thinks that the earth is flat. I think vaccinations there are the least of your worries. Wah. The earth is flat. Wah. See? You might want to get him vaccinated before he develops measles or Karen. Funnily enough, despite the whole autistic screeching meme, I've never actually heard an autistic person screeching. I have heard anti-vaxxers screech like that, but they're obviously not autistic because they didn't get vaccinated. But in all seriousness, we do know some of the factors that can give someone autism. For example, genetics are a big factor in determining whether you've got autism or not. Now, autism doesn't have to be inherited. You can actually get genetic-based autism from a mutation. The brain is a very complex computer, so changing it ever so slightly can have a big impact. So if you have autism because of your genes, it is very possible that your children may inherit that autism. And here is an example of someone who likely inherited their autism.
But the truth is, I actually am a little bit autistic. I am slightly on the spectrum. Now, I'm a very high-functioning autistic. I'm only very slightly on the spectrum. But autism runs in my family.
So yes, that was slightly out of context from its original video. The original video was about him getting mugged by his weed dealer, but that's not really relevant to this unless anti-vaxxers are going around being weed dealers and then mugging everyone. Don't get any ideas, Karen. Another possible cause of autism is exposure to rubella in the prenatal stage. So you want to know what that means? Vaccinations might actually be able to reduce autism. Of course, because there are other factors in which somebody can get autism, that probably wouldn't change the autism rate by much. But you know, anti-vaxxers aren't going to accept that, especially when they're still infected with Karen. Now, autism isn't the only thing that a lot of anti-vaxxers rave on about. Some people want to be all natural. And I find that these types of anti-vaxxers aren't named Karen, they're actually named Susan, and their homes look as though they're straight from some sort of commercial, you know, like a cleaning commercial or something like that, and have just a little bit more decoration than a house from a porno video. I just want to live the way that nature intended for us to live. And that's fine, Susan. Find some place in nature so that you can live far the fuck away from everyone, because, you know, we don't want you with us either. Also, take Karen with you. Because nature didn't intend for us to have houses. Nature didn't intend for us to have internet. Yet I see a lot of anti-vaxxers using it. But you know, it is the parent's choice about whether to vaccinate or not. Yes, it is your choice whether to vaccinate your kid or not. But other parents can also decide whether they want your unvaccinated, measles-ridden sperm mutant running around in the playground next to their kids. Because even though their kids may be vaccinated, there are children with autoimmune disorders that cannot get vaccinated, and that are at risk to diseases like measles. Although there is one small problem with not allowing unvaccinated kids into schools. And that is, if you allow unvaccinated kids into schools, then they could possibly learn about vaccinations and be educated and know that vaccinations are something good and eventually vaccinate themselves, if they manage to survive long enough. However, if you don't allow them in school, then they don't get educated about it. Now, one thing I do have to clarify is that not everyone named Karen is an anti-vaxxer, and not everyone named Susan is an anti-vaxxer. Although, Susans do have a tendency to be incredibly cringy.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
But anyway, that's it for this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Make sure you vaccinate your kids. Leave a comment letting me know what you think about this video. Did you like the style? Did you really dislike the style? Let me know. As always, a big shout out to my $20 Patron. What Jesus? If you want to support me financially, you can do so on Patreon. Link will be in the description, and you get some cool rewards. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching. I should probably comb this wig. Because, let's be honest, Karens do take good care of their hair. And also, this part took ages to get right. Even this vaccine causes autism.